So I hope that you are enjoying what a diverse group of leaders, subject matters, and really actionable, very loaded with information. So I've got to say that I'm super proud that we're able to provide this platform. I want to say thank you to a couple people working behind the scenes today as PSAV. Now, this is the very first opportunity that we've ever done a live conference. So it was just the same amount of work preparing for a live as it was a virtual live. So, I want to say thank you to the tech team behind the scenes. We had no idea how this was going to all work together, but between a live stage, an audience, a separate stream, fusing them together, 7 or 8 laptops, and behind the scenes, thank you, Kurt, and thank you, team, 2 techs. I think there might have been 3 today behind the scenes to make it all happen. So I want to say thank you to all of our teams that are trying to make it happen. Also, DASCH. So I reached out and I said, you know what, I still really would love, I don't have any sponsors. I don't have any cash sponsors. So thank you, DASCH, for the sponsorship. It was really fantastic. And also a shout out to my camera crew. So thank you, Happy Media, Kenneth Fung. You have been working full hour days and we've got great footage behind the scenes. There you go, Ken. And also National Post. National Post has been working with Universal Women's Network since the beginning. Actually, last October, we started the conversation. And since we launched Women of Inspiration Awards and we opened up nominations in January, National Post across Canada has been helping us spread the word about nominating a Woman of Inspiration. The deadline, just a reminder, is June the 30th for your nomination. And for those people that have been nominated, complete your package, send it in. June 30th is the deadline. So I'm so excited. I see our room opening up right now. We have our first panel, and I'm super excited because we have a panel of business owners, women-owned businesses that are going to be on our panel today. So I will say, let's let our panelists into the stage. And as we're letting them in, I'm going to just introduce them. So I see them popping up here. So our first panelist, our women-owned panel today, what a treat. Rhonda Goldberg is the founder of Au Natural Snacks. She is a 2019 Woman of Inspiration and also a Universal Women's Network National Ambassador. She has specialized in flavored banana chips and flavored sweet potatoes. And let me tell you, I bought a bag just last week. They didn't make past like an hour. I devoured the whole bag. They were so good. Over the years, she's pioneered many company brands to market in the past 5 years and decided that now she was going to do it for herself. So she developed a healthy option for snacks called Au Naturals. It is healthy and it's vegan and it's naturally healthy, which is amazing. I said, I wish that bag was fuller, but she said, it's a full sweet potato in there. So I actually devoured a full sweet potato in that bag of her snacks, all natural. So it was super, super good. What Rhonda has managed to do is her brand is now across Canada in major stores, national, international retail locations across Canada. Super cool. So Rhonda, if you'd like to come into the room, I'm going to be introducing our next guest, but we'd now like to introduce Emily. Emily and Bridget are co-founders of the Wild Tea Kombucha, and I've had kombucha before. I haven't had the wild tea lately, ladies, so we need to have that as soon as we ended up. I was hoping to have some here that I could be drinking while I'm interviewing you. Now, your journey started in June of 2015, so you and I are both about the same sort of length of business. We started in 2014, but we know that we just push forward and we've got lots of stuff to do. Your idea quickly became real, and you joined forces, and I always talk about that roller coaster. So you both certainly had said, you've enjoyed this roller coaster, and you've used the words a roller coaster. That is a small business. You've supported each other in more than one ways, and now in the 5th year of operations, you have 11 SKUs. Let's count them. 11 SKUs, which is amazing. And you're also supported nationally, distributed, and soon looking to export. So I have to say, really great that we had Joanne come in and talk about that, Silicon Valley connection. And of course, we have lots of other speakers that are connected, transborder. So ladies, if you're in the room, I'd welcome you to the stage, and I'll introduce, Dr. Liza Shoes. So Dr. Liza, you're one of North America's leading body posture experts. You're the CEO, chosen product for shoes for A-listers, and you've developed a revolutionary line of heels and flats, and there's boots. I saw boots. I'm really excited about the boots. Meticulously designed, and they're beautiful, by the way, so that you wear them on your feet all day, and they're painless. They're gorgeous. When Dr. Liza is not traveling across the border to Hollywood, hopefully probably bumping into Tracy and Joanne, you are supplying your list of Hollywood clientele, because of course they're on their feet shooting all day. And you know what, I see your shoes all over the place, and I love the designs that you're coming out. You're really leading edge, and I'm looking forward to talking to you. So Kurt, I am waiting for our panelists to show live on the screen, and I'm ready to dig in for our women-owned panel.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We're just going to make sure that your video cameras are off so I can see you.
Okay.
So if I can have all of our panelists. Oh, there we go. Yay. Okay. And we have a couple more panelists that are not on yet. Or are they in the green room? We are going to get rolling, and as soon as they come into the green room, my tech team is just going to let them onto the stage as soon as they are in. So I'd like to say welcome, ladies. It is a pleasure to have you. We are just going to get started. You know, this is a live show. Things happen. I'm going to send a little note here to make sure and see if there's anybody that's having an issue finding the stage today. So I'm just going to okay, there we go. So now, ladies, where would you like to start? I would like to start by saying it's so lovely to see your faces, and I'm dying to know, first and foremost, let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about that impact. You know, the Success Summit, the goal of Success Summit is to bring the awareness for, you know, how you guys are navigating through this. And, you know, you've got 11 SKUs, Rhonda, and you're both national distribution. Rhonda, you know, international. So that throws a whole other thing into the mix, you know, with how you get your products produced and being able to keep up with the demand. I know that Costco is, you know, you're selling it at Costco. Like, how incredible, what a great problem to have. But when you're building your brand, those are the things that we need to talk about. So I'm going to open up the floor. Rhonda, maybe if I can get you to share a little bit about, you know, your experience and some of your challenges, you know, as of March 11th with zero preparation to, and then we'll get into how you've pivoted.
Well, it was an interesting experience when this all happened, because our focus has been more in-store versus online. So I would say 90 to 95% of all our sales are in-store. So when COVID hit, well, we were actually very grateful to be online at Costco. We weren't in-store at Costco. So our sales started to increase quite dramatically, which we weren't prepared for. And we were going from, you know, a couple cases a day to 10 to 20 to 30 cases a day. It was wiping out our inventory. I think also retailers felt the same way. Any retailer like a Sobeys, we also sell to them as well. Their online presence was increasing dramatically. I'm sure Loblaws was feeling the same. So from behind the scenes, a retailer had to hire a lot more people just to manage that part of their inventory, which was quite challenging, along with all the other problems that they had to deal with amount of people in store, etc. So it's for us, we, instead of declining, we actually increased. We also, the convenience store channel, we were, it just happened right before COVID that we landed with 7-Eleven, which was very difficult to get into. And we went across Canada with them, and people, instead of going to the larger grocery stores, they were starting to shop at the smaller stores. So our product started to increase at a convenience store, which when you don't, when you're not prepared for all the demand, of course, we were stuck with an inventory problem, just like all the toilet paper companies. People were starting to hoard inventory, but we managed to survive this and supply our customers with as much product as we could without shorting our clients that support us and our customers. So so with manufacturers, I'm sure it's difficult to manage, and I also have to get my products from a different country as well. It's created in Calgary, but our bananas do not grow here, so it's done somewhere else.
Oh my gosh, they do not grow here in Canada. So, there's so many moving pieces that I don't think that people realize. And, I was thinking about your products, all of your products, as, we went into, pre kind of real shutdown, was all of the hoarding, so you look at your problems that you're having because you didn't anticipate. You've got your flows, you've got your targets, you've got your stocks, you're preparing for what is for this time of year, because now you have a history. So you're like, okay, so in March we'll prepare for this, April, May, June, and your production lines are already ready to go. And so what are some of the lead times that you've had to sort of, how have you pivoted? And now I'm going to go up to, so Rhonda, I'm going to switch up to Emily. And Emily, it is so great to have you representing Kombucha. And I don't know whether Bridget is joining. Is she able to join, or you are?
No, Bridget got taken away, so unfortunately
Somebody's manning the business. Somebody's manning the business. I know that you guys have got lots on your plate. So I'm like, it is a miracle that we actually even have our women-owned businesses, because I know there's several balls going on right now. So please share with us how that has impacted your product and your business. I mean, you're in the beverage area.
Well, first and foremost, we manufacture everything in-house. So it would be nice if we had a co-packer, but we don't. So we wear many hats, and from production to sales to marketing to just general operations, we have to try to juggle all those balls within a day. So thus right now, Bridget's working the line canning, and I'm here getting to spread the joy with everyone. So
amazing.
Yeah, and COVID, it's a little bit like Rhonda's story. So we had a small surge, obviously, in March and April when everyone was panic buying. But unlike toilet paper and banana chips, which are delicious and have a much longer shelf life, the post April, so May, June, it's been definitely a lot slower. And I think now for us, we're starting to really recognize the decrease in all of our wholesale accounts as well as our restaurant accounts. And that's one of the reasons why we launched our online platform, to just pivot and try to hit another target audience that we weren't in reach with before.
Interesting. I know that one of our speakers yesterday, Angela, with her experience with the economic development, she talked about the false economy. Yes. Right now, just really for businesses to go, okay, the numbers are really strong. It's just like, your 10 cases versus 2, like the numbers are all out there. It's like, the demand, and then it falls off again. So,
yes. August should be interesting, just from an economy standpoint and also from a food purchasing standpoint, because the decrease in jobs and the more financial uncertainty will make people not want to buy things that are considered a luxury like kombucha, and maybe just sticking to the basics. So
can I get you to expand a little bit about the product? And I'd like to know your background stories, because I always believe that what we're trying to build here is people that know what it is that you're doing, especially women-owned. I want to make sure that people know your product. They want to support a women. They have a choice of 2 or 3 or 5, whatever that is. They know your story, and they know that you're a woman-owned product, and they want to support you. And I think that everybody can play a part in that. So maybe I can get you to talk a little bit, Emily, about, you started in 2015, but tell us how that came to be and a little bit about kombucha because it is new.
Yeah, sure. So kombucha has been around for about 2,000 years. It started in Japan, and it has circulated its way across the world. It made a resurgence in 1996 with GT's, which is the brand that everyone recognizes, from Costco to all of their grocery stores. And then it's became popular in Canada, specifically with the brand Rise. And then in 2015, it became the first wave of all of the microbreweries of kombucha. And so just like making cheese, instead of fermenting milk, you're fermenting tea. And then we add fresh pressed juices to it to make them taste good. It's a beverage that's filled with probiotics that has all sorts of alkalining benefits, heals and seals the guts. It does contain some amino acids and vitamins. And it's just a healthy tool for your toolkit. I don't claim that it will solve cancer, but it definitely is just a nice low sugar option. And so we have two non-alcoholic lines. We have our cocktail-inspired line, and we have our kombucha sodas, which is as if pop and kombucha had a baby. So they taste like a cola, but they still have the probiotic benefit of a kombucha. And then new this year is our alcoholic line. So we launched a 6% alcohol hard kombucha cider. It's a cider base with kombucha and then fresh pressed juices. And so it tastes like a dry cider. It's not too sweet, and I like it.
Oh, I can't wait to taste. I'm getting hungry. We're coming up on lunch and I'm like banana chips, sweet potato fries. I'm like kombucha. I'm like, this is not well placed for me, gotta say. But so super excited to hear about, the product lines, the expansion. So let's dive into that a little bit about the pivoting, because now I have to ask you, was the goal to always incorporate an alcoholic component to it? Like 6%, like not a 0.6, it's 6%. Like forget about the bottled wine. I'm gonna have this as a healthy choice. And some probiotics as well. So I can, kind of use that as a little bit more excuse. I'm gonna have my alcoholic kombucha and be healthy about drinking, So can you explain a little bit about, was that part of your initial pivot or was that a COVID pivot?
No, that was just a strategic planning decision that we wanted to launch an alcoholic kombucha last year in 2019. In the States, it's quite popular. One of the first brands was called Craft out of California. And so we knew that there was a desire, and we knew that there was a potential for the product, and that there was nothing like it existing. So we really wanted to be first to market with this product. And then COVID has definitely accelerated our online presence. Up until COVID, we had an online space and a tap room, but it wasn't until COVID hit that the light bulb came on, and then we started reaching out to brands like Au Naturals and other small businesses within Calgary to just try to lift each other up and create as many platforms to create a point of sale.
Amazing. And Rhonda, and I'm going to talk about the platform. I'm going to talk about the marketing, because that's really, really key, is visibility. We have to know about women-owned businesses. So Rhonda, I'll get you to explain about the pivoting on your end. How did you manage with, trying to scramble? You've got 10 cases going out the door and you're used to 2. Like, how are you pivoting right now as a result of COVID?
Well, we're back to more of a normal, like we're back to being able to handle what's going on. So it took us a little bit, like we had to adjust, but I think right now we can predict the buying habits, and it has slowed down a little bit. So we're now caught up. Our inventory, we got our containers in, so we're grateful that we have all the inventory and not shorting anybody. So right now we can handle all the orders, and even if they do increase, we're very happy if they do increase. So pivoting for us, if our sales go higher on online, we're okay. If the stores order more, we're actually okay. So what we're just trying to do is, we'd hate to go back to where it was. Like we're happy with our sales now, and we want to keep it up. So our goal is to try and figure out how we get our current buyer and how we spread the word for new buyers to try our products for Au Naturals. We are going to be introducing extra SKU line shortly. which is our banana jackfruit combination. And we're really gearing to do some line extensions without any added flavors. That's our goal right now, to increase purchasing habits. So that's what we're doing. We're also expanding into different countries. I'm looking at different countries. That's our goal right now, to pivot, because actually right now in Mexico, the government is actually mandating the different things on packaging, and Canada might mandate the same thing, where they're actually putting different labels to products that are not good for you. And this is all being mandated by the government too, because there's an obesity problem in Mexico. And I think, you know, Canadians are not as, I mean, there's a high diabetes and obesity and heart attack and stroke. So I think what's happening is the government's kind of coming behind that and saying, you know, let's educate the consumer on better choice. So that's where we're pivoting, is to try and find ways to educate consumer on product choice and just build the brand that way.
I have got to say, I am super excited because during COVID, one of my pivots was to launch the women-owned directory. Because one of the things I realized was when COVID happened, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're all online. Like, that's my entire network. And I've been working for the past 6 years, not as a part-time job. I'm like talking full-time, 1,000% committed to supporting women in business and supporting women to advance in their careers. That I looked at this galaxy where everybody's on the computer, and I'm like looking up to the stars, and I'm going, that's all the websites out there. Those are all the businesses. How on earth is anybody going to find you? And I don't care if you have an Instagram account, you have Facebook, that's great, you have LinkedIn, but honestly, how are people going to find you? And how are they going to say, I want to support a women-owned business, if they don't know where you are or what you're doing? So I'm like, I built a directory and we're just launching it off. So now my focus is part 2. And as we talked about before, Rhonda, super excited, is we're doing the certification so we can certify brands that are women owned, because there's a difference between a women owned business and a women led business. A women owned business, as you know, your personal finances and you're 1,000% on risk for that business to succeed. You're on the line. 51% more, I would say that you're probably more, but the minimum is 51%. There's a different level of risk for women-owned businesses, and that's why we need to support them fiercely. So we decided that we do product logos with our certifications. So if somebody was shopping, and I did this, remember I tweeted you out, Rhonda, I was shopping with just myself, because only one family member in the store, and I saw your cases sitting there. I'm like, yay, I want to support Rhonda. I was so excited. So I picked up a bag and I tweeted it out, and I include you in there because I wanted to support. But I thought, you know what it's missing? It's missing the fact that you're a women-owned product on there. So I'm like, done. I went home and I'm like, no, this is exactly what we're going to do. So I'm just talking about it first now. I'm so excited. When I first started talking about it, I could barely breathe, because I just thought, oh my God, if we can empower people to make choices, every single person out there can help you keep yourself in business, add more lines, you know, make healthy choices for our families, and support women-owned businesses. So I'm super excited. I know we were going to try and get everything ready to show everybody what that would look like, but we'll do that later, Rhonda. How would that help, do you believe, if you gave somebody the choice of buying a women-owned product? How helpful would that be?
Well, I actually did my own research, talking to various consumers before we, as you and I discussed this certification logo. And I think it's going to be very helpful for women that do sell products or even services, that other women and men know that they're supporting women in business. I think there's been we have different logos, whether it be gluten-free, vegan, plant-based, nut-free. Those are all important for consumers when they buy products, but the person that's buying a lot of going to the grocery store is really the women. I mean, men do go, but the women are the women shoppers in most households. And I know women like supporting women. Men also like supporting women as well. But I think it's going to be very helpful because there's lots of grants as well. The grants and the support from the government is there's lots of things out there, and it is very difficult to start your business from scratch, ground zero, with no help, sometimes no support. Well, that is no help, but it just, but in general, you sometimes feel very alone. So when when you have supporters and cheerleaders that are supporting you, it makes you want to go that much further to help the public. It makes you want to wake up every day knowing that somebody is supporting you as a woman. So I think it's going to be great just to expose this, and it really will make a difference. That's what I believe.
Well, I cannot wait. I'm super excited. And like I said, I could barely breathe when I get excited. You know me, Rhonda. I am like, well, I go really fast, but I just, it's something that was a pivot in the right direction. I'm like, oh my God, we got to do this. So we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
So Emily, how would that help you in your product? Hello, Dr. Liza. How would that help you, Emily? We're at the liquor store with your new products, because it's not carried in our regular stores. And then on the store shelves, and when women are buying, like, I just can't even imagine how much that would help, because exposure, a directory, so we can just tell people more and more and more why they should support.
I think it's definitely a good idea and a tool in the toolkit for selling. And I think just as much as people like seeing a little circle that says EcoCert or gluten-free, I think that having a big W or whatever the logo is a very cool branding tool. And I think it helps create a conversation, and it allows stores to do a marketing campaign. So just like, for instance, with Sobeys, every week they have a different theme for each sale period. Maybe that's something you can approach and start the conversation where there's a women's specific sale period. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, we have senior shopping early, right? Maybe we can, I just think that the way that we can engage our stores, like the Costco's, the Walmarts, and these actually are the Fortune 500 companies that actually have mandates to support women-owned businesses. They have actual mandates. So that's going to be an easy way. Now we can tie it all together. So I'm really excited. And hello, Dr. Liza. I'm so excited that you're able to get on. I was like, where are you? Are you wearing those awesome shoes? And I can't hear you. I guess your microphone is off. We'll just get you to pop on your microphone. It's on the bottom toolbar on the left side. So really super excited. I know there's a little bit of let me see, maybe our tech team can help turn on your microphone. While we're waiting for that to happen, I just want to share that, the products and the diverse products that all of our women have developed, and providing solutions for healthier, better lives for themselves and their families. So super excited. I see that your microphone is on, so it's such a pleasure to have you join us. I know that there's time differences, which get a little bit confusing, so welcome. And I still don't have a microphone on, so I am not sure. If you want to go back out and come back in again, we can try that. And I'm going to continue, or if I'll let our tech team try and see if we can figure out the microphones. So we talked about your businesses and how you have launched, the importance of branding and really getting visible right now. But let's talk about right now something really important. What support do you need? What support do you need? Oh my goodness. The uncertainty out there, availability to funds. I know the federal government announced $15 million. Have you got any of that?
We have applied for the $40,000 loan because you have to have employees and you have to show a decrease in sales. So we ticked all those boxes.
That is not the $15 million available for female entrepreneurs.
Oh, no,
that is the small business loan available for everybody. The federal government announced a $15 million.
Yes, for the Women Economic Diversification grant that I applied to, but they only handed out 50.
Correct.
it's just for those women. It's not for females.
So I want to just draw a little bit of attention there to that point again. We have 1.2 million small businesses in Canada. We have 200,000 women-owned businesses across Canada. We have $15 million, which is a little shy of the 1.2 going to other areas, but 15 million, and not a penny went to anybody outside of that ecosystem. So this is why we're doing the Success Summit, because we want to find solutions. So that's why we're pivoting. That's why we're working together to find out ways that we can help support each other. And I have got to commit to you and you and you and all of those watching that I am very committed to working with you to find a solution, because that is not okay. Because we are the livelihoods of our economy. So we have to educate people, we have to stick together, and we have to find a way of really keeping those sales alive. And if there's dollars to be spent, we need to have a piece of that. So let's work together, ladies. I want to do my best to do, but I want to know from each and every one of you, we got more time here, but I want to find out how we can support you, Emily, how we can support you, Rhonda, how we can support you, Dr. Liza. This is super, super important. And I was waiting for the past 2 days to have you ladies talk about that support, because it's critical. So, Emily.
Sure. Well, I think first and foremost, the application process in itself for most grants is quite long and tedious, and it doesn't allow the people who are sitting at a round table either tossing in a yes or no. They're overwhelmed. They're receiving hundreds of thousands of applicants. They don't have the time. And so it's quite difficult to create a snapshot of yourself that shows your growth, your trajectory. And so that's just my 2 cents. But when it comes to different ways to support each other, I think that being in the know with at least in your provincial body, so for Alberta, Agriculture Alberta, and trying to attend as many as the seminars, and they had a funding seminar yesterday on all of the different grants available to all of the different businesses, and so that was quite useful. But I think it's also just communicating with each other and lifting each other up and trying to make connections. So, like, for instance, Rhonda knows a lot of people that I don't know, and so she's nicely going to be helping introduce some people to me, and I'm going to try to help her out. And I think it's just about working together and trying to lift each other up.
And I agree 1,000%. You know, the grant process, done it myself, and you have to actually have somebody dedicated to write that grant for you. They're very complicated. And I think that process could be improved on to provide access. You know, we talk about one thing is, you know, how hard it is for women. Why are we packing it up to make it even that much harder? I just think we have to look at how we unpack it to make it easier, period.
And I think the last thing is that if you're a single woman and you don't have a partner, or if you want to have a partner, or if you want to have children, I often myself feel quite conflicted because I have to choose. I don't have time to split myself into 40 pieces. So do I go to the gym, or do I work on a grant? Or do I try to find a partner, or do I go to work and get shit done? So it's just, sometimes it's a lot of balls in the air.
I am a single mom and an entrepreneur, and I know about all of the balls because I juggle them daily. And sometimes it's pretty and sometimes it's not, just to be clear. But they get done, right? You just don't stop to think about it. As we know, Dr. Liza, you just get it done. Dr. Liza, I'd love to hear from you. We've got the microphone set.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
Okay, jump in. I was just hoping that you'd show me your shoes, but later.
I actually have shoes like all over the place. So
they're gorgeous. They are gorgeous. I like those snakeskin ones. Just saying, the brown ones.
Yes, those are leopard print.
Oh, they're so pretty. Okay, so I could talk about shoes all day long, but I want to know for you, you've done some really interesting things to pivot. I want to sort of bring those top of mind. Black Lives Matter is top of mind, and I want to say from me to you and from everybody, we really support Black Lives Matter, and we really want to find a way of helping support the voice and the visibility, because being a woman is hard, but being a Black woman is even harder. And I just want to say we support, and however we can help do that. I know that you have a program running where you're actually donating product to support the movement. So I'll let you jump in, talk about how you're pivoting in COVID so you can catch up, and then we'll talk about the support that you need.
So I have a clinic because I'm a manual osteopath and a chiropractor. So obviously with COVID, I had to close my clinic. But fortunately, I also have my shoe line, which is an e-commerce company, which means that even with the clinic closed, I could still focus on the shoes aspect, right? So I've been able to spend a lot more time on that. And when this first started, I thought, I mean, we're in a pandemic. People are losing their jobs. People they're working from home. So I thought, well, who is going to be buying designer shoes? Because where are you wearing them to besides the grocery store? So I assumed that, you know, people would just stop buying shoes. But to my surprise, women were actually buying shoes and continue to buy shoes. And for me, it almost was a sign of hope, right? That people feel that, yes, this is going on, but we see an end to it. Therefore, we are buying shoes because we know we will be out and about again. So literally every time someone purchased a pair of shoes, I thought, okay, we have hope. We're not resigning to living the rest of our days at home. We know we'll be out and about again, and we want to feel good. And then when it comes to, so then recently this the movement or revolution for Black Lives began. And I remember so on, was it June 1st? Yeah, June 1st was the Blackout Tuesday. So I posted a black box, and under that I talked about how my dad, who has 4 doctorates, he has written over 100 papers, one of the most respected men in his field, was murdered at a hospital because he was Black. They paid no attention to him. They just treated him like nothing. So then the next day, to find that some people were putting All Lives Matter on my post, that was very hurtful, because I thought, you know, if one of your parents dies and you post about it, and then people are like, oh, well, all parents die eventually, it's not the same thing. And that's what I want to stress with this Black Lives Matter, is that this is a women's network, right? Like the goal of the network is to build up women, support women's businesses, make sure that we're all moving in a direction, because as women, we are naturally put down. We make less. We're less likely to assume business power. Our businesses get less support, which is saying less grants. So if some guy came in right now and was like, oh, all businesses matter, all people matter, it's not just you women, it's the same kind of thing with Black Lives Matter. Yes, of course, all lives matter, all businesses matter, all people matter, but when there's a focus, then that's what the focus should be on, right? So if people support Black businesses, right, and support the cause because they understand that as a result of being Black, we face certain disparities. It's the same as women, we face certain disparities. And that's why when we talk about, you know, when we have our moments for Women's Day and supporting women, it's because we know as women that we have a much harder time. And we need to take up the spaces that belong to us. So for example, when it comes to women's shoes, we're the ones who wear them, right? So I designed them for us. When it comes to women's clothing, when it comes to, you know, women's menstrual products, things that we as women consume exclusively, we should be at the forefront of those businesses that essentially sell to us, right? And we personally have an option to choose where we spend our dollars. So if I'm shopping and like there's a guy who sells shortbread and a woman who sells shortbread, and they both have delicious shortbread, I'm buying the woman's shortbread, right? Just because I know she is going to have a much harder time getting the loan to start her shortbread business. She's going to have a much harder time selling her shortbread business. So I'm going to support her. So I believe it's being conscious in what we do and knowing, even with COVID-19 and the pandemic, women were more affected than men were, right? So not from a standpoint in that more women got sick, but more women, especially those with families, had to take a step back from their careers in order to take care of the kids, that because schools were closed, versus most men could carry on, as normal, while in hindsight, most of that uh, extra work, right, our free work, was put on women.
Well, and I want to say check, 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 and check. I'm so happy that we actually brought you onto the panel. And I want to touch on the Black Lives Matter and the Black Lives Matter, because I know that initially I was so touched. I don't see like, I've always been one of my best friends was Black. My son's best friend is Black. I don't live in that headspace of that hate. Like, I see diversity, inclusiveness. And so I was very, preoccupied with kind of Summit and just keeping my head above water and, everything going on. I was like, oh my God, how do I get involved? And I actually posted Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. And, I had somebody reach out to me. I tweeted it out. And I know that it was probably about 11 o'clock at night. And I tweeted this out. And then I got this ping, and somebody had commented, I know you probably didn't mean this, but I think you should probably check out what that actually means. And so I'm like, okay. So I got out of bed and I checked it out. And then I actually took down the post and actually recreated a new one instantly and posted it, because I didn't actually, I was oblivious to what I had actually said. Right. So I just want to say, my apologies, because I think I commented all lives matter, but I didn't see the entire post or realize the impact or how it was so negative. And so since then, I have researched about what that actually means. And I didn't do it to be disrespectful or anything more than, I love all people. But now I totally understand. But it did take some education about learning about it. And so I'm so thankful that you're speaking out about it, because I think it's about education. And, I don't know, I don't feel, and, it hurts me to see how people are being treated. Black women, oh my God, like, I am looking at everything. The round table, we're going to be talking about it today again, because I want to make sure that we prop each other up. We support each other. We help support women, minorities. I mean, we're in this together, right? So it's really important. So I want to do what we can. And I was so happy that you brought that up today, because I have to say, you know what? I am guilty of putting that out there. All lives matter. And I'm like, oh my God, how horrible for me to say that, because I didn't realize what I had just said, right? So I retracted it. So I just want to say, I really apologize, because I did write that, but I didn't understand at the time what I was writing. So education is key.
Absolutely, and that's why I keep giving examples and tying it back to the struggle for women, right? Like, we had to fight to be able to vote. We had to fight to even be able to take jobs and work outside of the home, right? And so, like the same way a man might come in and be like, "Oh, well, we all matter," right? It's the same kind of thing. It's like, of course, everybody matters. Of course, we love everybody, right? But at the time, it's that's what the focus is. Like, International Women's Day, it is for women. Don't talk about we need to prop men up, right? And we know when it comes to women's issues that we cannot get where we need to be alone, right? We do need men to support us and say women matter. Just like when it comes to Black Lives Matter, we need everyone who's not Black to also be like, yes, you guys do matter.
Yeah, well, I once again thank you, and that's why it's so important that we have these conversations. And I hope that being saying I admit my ignorance here, and I apologies about it. I hope that enables somebody else to speak up and say, I didn't understand, but now I do understand the difference and how that is impacting somebody, how those words. So thank you so much for sharing. And we are going to continue the conversation. And I hope that you're able to participate in the roundtable this afternoon in that discussion, because it's important. Now, I left a full hour for the Women to Own panel today. And our next panel is ironically, is to support her panel of how men can support women. So that's immediately following. Now, I left a little bit of a window of a break for 20 minutes. And so we're into that break, and I'm ready to go right until we're actually ready to bring on the panel for a support hers, because I believe that the information that you three are going to share, or you're speaking for your much larger networks of women that are not being represented today and right now. So thank you, Emily, for sharing. I'm going to go to Rhonda. How can we support you? And then Dr. Liza, I'd like you to share how we can support you right now, because COVID has impacted. Even though those sales are coming in, there's going to be a triple effect down for that. So Rhonda, you have the stage. Let us know how we can support you.
Well, that's a great question, Monica. It's kind of a loaded one. But I think the biggest support, so in order to get into the stores that we're in, the Safeways, the Sobeys, the Co-ops, the 7-Elevens of the world, the only way to get into these stores is to do a presentation and get somebody to believe in you. And thank God, you know, somebody up there believed in Au Naturals. But that's only half the battle. That's probably even a quarter of the battle. The other 50 to 75% is to get people to buy your products, prove to the person that believed in you to stay in the stores, that you're worthy of being in the stores, and same online. And I know what it's like to lose a big customer. We used to be in Walmart, and you know, it was damaging to our company to try and find another Walmarts of the world in Canada. That's why we had to expand outside of Canada, because when you lose that kind of business, there's the big players like a Loblaws. But what most people don't know, and government really needs to be behind this, is we really have a monopoly of companies that are going into our grocery stores with buying up shelves. And that's really what you see in a grocery store, is people that have the money to buy the space.
Listing
And,
fee. Yeah.
Pardon me?
I was sorry, I agree with you. The listing.
Yeah. So these are called listing fees. And I'd love, I mean, I don't want to be that bad person in this on the panel, but if people only knew the reason why a company got into the store, there's really two reasons. It's your product has to be good enough, and it has to prove, you have to prove yourself. But the other big part of this whole mess in this world is you're buying your space into the retailer. And also, you know, online, you also have to buy your space, because you have to buy ads, you have to buy, you're buying the people. And I don't really want to buy the people. They either have to like my product and buy it again, or they don't, and they buy somebody else's, and that's okay too. But we have to give the opportunities to all these amazing entrepreneurs that never get seen or heard of. And I know how difficult it is. So in order to help me for my company, is just for people to spread the word, for maybe people to talk to the government, talk to these retailers and say, you know what, it's really unfair if a business doesn't have all this money to get in to a retailer, but these are great products. So how do we get better products to the market, to the consumer, so they're not eating products that are, whether they be less healthy or healthier, but it's really unfair. We're starting at an unfair market anyway. So how do we break down this wall and to allow fairness into the consumer world? So if you guys can help me in that manner, help educate consumers that really, Au Naturals is all about honesty. What you put in the bag is what you get. We're not taking powders and calling things something like or sugars and calling a fruit like a fruit roll up fruit. That was never fruit. That, to me, our name is Au Naturals is what you get. It's a fruit and vegetable. It's not like the veggie sticks in the market. Those are made with powders. It's not, if you're buying a veggie stick and you're thinking you're getting vegetable, well, you're unfortunately, sadly mistaken. And it's misleading, and we don't like misleading our customers. We're natural. We say it how it is. So So if you can support me in any way, that would be the support, is just, helping out in that manner. And I think women-owned, if that can decrease listings in the US, that they're trying to do that, helping women-owned companies not pay as much for that. But I think in all businesses, we have to look at how we bring each other to market and spread the word.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, I was jotting down notes. You were on the round table, Rhonda, this afternoon from 3 to 4:30. You're at the table, and this is something we're going to bring, and we're going to talk about how we can do that. And I think those are very achievable, very, very achievable. And I've definitely got the networks, and that is what the roundtable is going to do. That is the purpose. So let's talk about Dr. Liza. You're in a completely different industry. So you've got a product line and you've got a service. So how can we support you? What support do you need?
Well, like you said, yes, there are sales for the shoes, but of course they're significantly reduced, right? Because no matter how much you want to buy shoes, you probably don't have the money to buy them, right? So it's not a time where people are, spending money on luxury items or spending money for things that they don't need. So for me, the support isn't even with just saying, buy my shoes. It's really just to share and spread the word about the shoes, right? So whether that's following on social media or sharing posts, that kind of thing is very helpful. And then also when it comes to, and just to touch back what she was saying about what Rhonda was saying about getting small businesses shelf space, with in the fashion world, there's a shoe designer who created something called the 15% pledge, I think that's what it's called, where she challenged big retailers to give 15% of their shelf space to Black businesses. But the same thing, those kind of same things should be done for small businesses and women-owned businesses, where we say, okay, Walmart, okay, Loblaws, what percent of your shelf space are you giving to these businesses that are challenged? Especially right now with COVID-19, the grocery store is the most popular place. So, and small businesses, those are the ones who are being hit the hardest. So why don't you give shelf space to small businesses? Women are getting hit harder. Why don't you give this percentage of shelf space, like forget about your listing fee, and just do something good and give this portion of your shelves to certain businesses, like small businesses, women-owned businesses as well. And I think that's
amazing. I think that was gold. And this is what I love so much, is I realize each and every one of you it's like I see whack-a-mole out there right now. The little game at the carnival where you're like, bah, 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 bah. That is what it's like for female entrepreneurs right now. It's like whack-a-mole, right? It's like it was whack-a-mole before COVID, and it's whack-a-mole on like with both hands now, right? So I appreciate your time, taking the time from your busy days in order to do this. But I got to tell you, I've got my list, and that's what this is for. So I support you 1,000%. And yes, I am not going, grass does not grow under my feet, and I'm going to commit to you that together we're going to get this done. And I see that as being a very, very positive step, not just for everyone on this call or on this screen, but for so many women that we can help support by just getting the attention of the people that are making the buying decisions, and then the government, right? They've already got it written out. They just need to lead by example and follow what they actually say they're going to do. And I don't think that that's going to be a big challenge, to be honest with you. I think that, do you agree or not?
No, I was going to say what I think is that you can use your platform and the people you work with. And because a lot of stores, like for instance, Save On and Sobeys have a local program. And so I think what you can use your voice for is to help those stores not only have a local program, but have a local women's program. So maybe it's just one shelf, but then at least all those products are local and women owned or operated. And that is the beginning of a win-win situation, because at the end of the day, the businesses do want to make money, and they are going to charge us listing fees, but potentially to be on that shelf, they will waive them and make a donation. or something, who knows, but that, I think, in my opinion, that'd be something that you, Monica, could help with, or Rhonda, or anyone, to help build a conversation about supporting and representing and making it a true marketing standpoint and a branding standpoint.
Since March 11th, I've actually been reaching out to all of the Fortune 500 companies with that purpose in mind, and building the relationships with the CEOs and the executives to say, hi, this is who we are, this is what we're doing, like to learn about your diversity program. And by the way, let's build a program. Like I've come out and just built the relationship. So now that we're launching the women-owned product, we're also doing the certification for that as well, the branding on the products. And then the next step is to say, okay, now I didn't know about the shelf and the pricing like that, so that's a missing ingredient, but I could see them rallying. Wouldn't it be great if you go to Costco and they said, you know, we support women owned, look for the labels on our products, we're happy to do this. That is nothing for them. That is nothing for them. Nothing for the Walmarts, nothing for the big companies. And mark my words, it's already in action. So yes, let's do this.
Emily?
We need more support. We need more voices. That's why you guys are all so important, because what your pain points are, if we don't know what's broken or what support you need, then we can't fix it. And the grants, I agree with you, Emily. There's a lot of grants out there, but honestly, the criteria, you need a day just to go through the criteria. I mean, in regards to the women owned, we're shorting up. Are we almost out of time here? Oh, we are. Okay, we got 1 minute. Okay, so
I'm getting told I need to get my turn on the canning line.
Okay, so you go make more kombucha, because I'm excited to try it. And I love the little banana snacks. And Dr. Liza, I'm a size 8. Just saying, shamelessly, maybe an 8.5. Just, I've grown a little bit over COVID. So, and I don't know if your feet grow too.
Are your, sorry to be ignorant, but your shoes, like, are they like comfortable heels? Because I'm a fan already if they are.
Yeah, so they are comfortable heels. They all have built-in orthotic support and literally designed so that you can wear heels, flats, sandals, and be comfortable all day.
Okay, I'm a fan, because I have bones first, so I need good shoes.
So this is what I'm going to ask you all to do as we leave. I'm going to get you to do your 30-second elevator pitch about your brand. We've got it all on tape, and for everybody that's watching, Emily, Rhonda, and Dr. Liza, go.
Okay, Wild Tea Kombucha, hashtag, and all of the social medias, all Wild Tea Kombucha, non-alcoholic, alcoholic, we're ready for you.
And where can we find you?
Oh yeah, missed that part. Stores, grocery stores, and liquor stores, and all across Canada right now.
And any particular stores?
Oh, again, yeah. Safeway, Sobeys, Save-On, and then independent retail chains. We're still working to grow our network, but again, it's a tough battle out there.
We got your back. Thank you. Rhonda, you're on.
Oh, natural flavored snacks. We're a fruit and vegetable company, gluten-free, peanut-free, and plant-based. Banana chips and sweet potato fries, and soon to have a banana and jackfruit combination. We are found in Safeway, Sobeys, Co-op, 7-Eleven, online through our store, Mexico, GNC, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple, Farm Boy out in the East. Anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for all your support, Monica, for arranging this. This really means a lot to me. I'm a big fan of yours, and I do want to make, the reason why I created Au Naturals is to make a difference, and together we will make a difference.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rhonda. Okay,
So,
Dr. Liza, you have the stage.
So Dr. Liza's Shoes is a line of designer shoes designed by a doctor for true all-day wear. So they have flats, sandals, boots, and they are so cute. You'd be shocked that they're that comfortable. And they can be found online at drlizashoes.com, and there's free shipping throughout Canada.
Yay!
Amazing. And look for the new Universal Women Owned logo and buy to support women. and cut the commercial. Thank you, ladies, so much. I had an amazing time. I value each and every one of you and super excited for the journey ahead. We're going to keep the conversation going. And I hope to see you both on the, I know that Emily, you're working, but I hope to see you both on the round table later this afternoon. Thanks so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
I forgot to get a picture. Anyways, so wasn't that amazing? So we have another panel coming up. Now, that was, I have been booking myself back to back because we have so much information. And I got to tell you, we have an amazing team in the background. But when you go through this much work, to actually put a conference together, I don't want to waste a single minute. So if you have to get up, or if you had to do, you know, get a glass of water, go check some emails, just know that the pass holders for the entire summit, we are offering those for our pass holders, the entire replay version. So you can go back and see the stories that you might have missed, that you might have had go take care of business and come back to. So don't worry about it, breathe. We've got more coming. Okay, I had to breathe too. And we have our Support Her panel. Now, I have